Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. This is Wolf Fang here in sunny Cincinnati, Ohio. Wow, believe it or not, we have sunshine today. It's 80 degrees. It's nice outside. I wish I had the setup to do this video outside, but I don't have that type of setup yet. Eventually, I'll try to do video outside during the summertime. Anyway, today's topic is going to be about being overwhelmed. When you first start out prepping, or you're new to prepping, it can be overwhelming. I mean, all the videos out there about it, everybody has different advice, and it can be overwhelming for somebody just getting into prepping, and it's overwhelming. So what I want to share today is about taking baby steps. You have to learn how to walk before you can run, right? So as always, I wrote some notes down, and I'm actually going to share a few items that you can start with. Okay, it's important when you first start out prepping, you have to have some type of plan. What are you prepping for? Are you prepping, do you live in a flood area? Do you live in Tornado Valley? Do you live out in California area where there's earthquakes? Do you live in the region where when winter comes you get hit with really bad snowstorms? So it all depends on your region, area, where you live, weather conditions. Or are you prepping for when shit hits the fan? Serious power down, could be World War III. It depends on what what you want to prep for. The next thing is, do you live in a house? Do you live by yourself, or do you have a family? So it's just myself and my wife, and we live in a small apartment. So our scenario is definitely different than somebody that lives out in a farmland somewhere, out secluded away from everybody. We live pretty close to the city, so that's why I always say, if things got really, really bad and we had to bug out, we would. I have stuff already packed up and ready to go. We have a place that we will go to. But getting back to the beginning, when you first start prepping, like I said, you want to make a plan. Write stuff down. Make a list of what you think you may need. And the other thing is the budget. We are on a budget. So, for instance, let's start with your food. And you will always hear preppers talk about your rice and your beans and stuff like that. Okay, example. Honey. It has a shelf life forever. Okay. Peanut butter. Once again, peanut butter and honey, they're both good, and they have a long shelf life. So when you go to the grocery store, if you're buying, and if you can afford it, if you're picking up peanut butter, buy 2 jars if you can. If you're buying a bag of rice, buy 2 bags. Set your extra off. Get a 5-gallon bucket. Like with us, like I said, we live in an apartment, so I use a closet to store extra stuff. The other thing, and I catch myself doing this now, is when you do buy your grocery items, look at your expiration date. Here's one. I know a lot of people probably don't like Spam, but it's got a good shelf life to it. Another one is your soup, your canned soup. Vegetables, whether it's canned corn, green beans. The one thing that you do have to keep an eye on, though, when you buy canned goods, is any item that has a high acidity level to it, and that's your tomato paste, your tomato sauce, anything like that, because it will go bad on you. Your canned soup, I think, will last a little longer. And if I'm wrong, after I'm done with the video and you guys watch the video, add a comment, And once again, like I always say in my video, I'm not an expert. I'm just here to share stuff. I've been prepping for quite a while now. I did, my research. I watch certain people on YouTube and their videos too, and they're educational. I mean, there's a lot of information out there that everybody shares. And we're a big prepper family, so we share these topics back and forth, and we learn from each other. Another, and this is actually a prepper protein bars. I've never tried these, but you can see that they're vacuum sealed. And where's the name at? It's Datrix. It's emergency ration, and this is like a 5-year, 10-year shelf life on these. And there's a lot in here, and from what I understand, they're it's like a protein bar, but they're kind of hard. I have no idea what they taste like. I've never opened one. Maybe I should. Another one is your little Vienna sausages. I don't know if anybody likes them or not, but these are, this is your cheap stuff. You don't have to spend a lot of money on, buying food. Your noodles, spaghetti, stuff like that. And of course, along with your pastas, you're going to need water to boil it. That's where, buy a case of water. And for like us living in the apartment, a case of water, you stick it in your closet because you don't want the sunlight to hit the water. You keep it in a dark, cool place. It'll last a lot longer. You can also store, keep your drinking, your plastic bottles and refill those. You can do that too. Even your gallon, like we'll buy tea in the plastic gallon jugs, and after that's done, I rinse those out real good, and you can fill that up with water. As a matter of fact, I have one of those down in my car. I keep a gallon of water in there. Next, because you never know, your dust masks, your face masks, and these are cheap. You could buy probably a box of 10. I want to say it's been a while, $8 maybe. It might even be. It depends on the style that you get. But when you're starting out, don't think you gotta buy the top of the line stuff. Another item is a little simple first aid kit. You can go to your Wally World or your thrift store, and pick up a box of Band-Aids, some gauze, stuff like that, surgical tape, and it really doesn't cost that much. And the deal with this is you just buy a little bit at a time. Don't think that you have to, I need to get this done real soon. I got to do this fast. I've established over 8 years, maybe. I just been a little bit at a time. There are a few things that I have bought prepackaged and added to it, because like I said, if it gets bad and we have to leave, I want to make sure that we've got stuff that we're gonna need. But for just starting out, and if you're new to prepping, these little items you can pick up. The Spam, the peanut butter, your honey, definitely the honey. And with the honey can be expensive, but I'll tell you what, if you can buy your local honey, it will help with your allergies. If you think about it, how the bees produce honey, they take it from your plants in your area, the pollen, and they make their honey. That's how the honey's made with their beehives, but it's from the plants in your area. Okay, so another cheap item is your work gloves. I think these were like 99 cents. I got them at a thrift store. And then going to the Life Straw, this was $20, and you can buy a lot of like this stuff here. You can buy on Amazon or just all kinds of different websites. That was, I think they're usually like 19. You might as well say $20. Okay, if that's all you can afford. Now, obviously, your batteries. Always want to keep batteries for your flashlights. Have more than one flashlight. Have a few flashlights. Candles. Candles aren't expensive if you stick with non-scented. If you buy what the heck's there's a certain name brand out there. I just can't believe the price of them. But I actually make my own candles. That's my hobby. I have I think I got like 80 pounds of wax downstairs, and I actually have a little melter, and I've got my form molds to make pillar candles is what I make. So I make those. We have plenty of candles around. But once again, that's an open flame, so you got to be careful, especially if you have to bug in too. And just be careful with open flame. That's all I'm saying. Don't be goofy. Your next item is your emergency radio. This is a radio flashlight, and it's a crank. You don't need batteries for this. It's the flashlight, radio, but have a couple of these. They're a pretty good item to have. I have a few these nightsticks. They're good in a pinch. I mean, they don't give off a whole bunch of light, but you can put them close enough to a book if you need, or if you have to read something, you'll be able to see with these. Now, I know the price on this is $2, but you can get them cheaper than that. I bought a case off of Amazon, and it was under $20, and I think there was like 10 sticks, and I think 12 inch long. This one's just 6 inch. But and then just the basics, all right. And once you start getting more relaxed or knowing what you're doing. And as you buy different items, this item here, I did a video on this flashlight, and I really like this one because it's solar. You can charge it USB, but you can also charge it solar. Now this flashlight's a little pricier, but see that is your that's your solar bank. So all you have to do is just leave it sit out in the light, and it will charge itself. And this flashlight cost me, it was over $40. It's a pricey flashlight. But like I said, once you get a little more comfortable with the items and with what you're doing, because like I said, everybody preps differently. Everybody's, it all depends on your situation. And then you have your Mountain House food. You can buy this at a sporting good place. You can buy them online, and they range from $8 to $10 for the pouch. Or you can buy the big cans. I do Mountain House and I do Legacy. But like I said, when you get into the freeze dried food, that's a little pricey. Other items: duct tape, lighter fluid, and these are items that are cheap. Your cotton balls and Vaseline. Put some Vaseline on the cotton ball. Do a few of them, put them in a Ziploc bag, and that makes a good fire starter. And that goes along with, when you first start prepping, learn some off-grid skills. How to make a fire, how to cook, how to make shelter, basic first aid. And the more I talk about this, I can see why some people get overwhelmed, because there is a lot to soak in. I mean, there's a lot to learn. And if you're really new to this, I can see why you can be overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed when I was in boot camp. I'm ex-military, so that was my scenario of being overwhelmed. That was a whole new ball game for me. But when I did get into prepping, it was like, oh, what items should I get? And it's like, oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. Don't do it that way. Like I said, take baby steps. You have to learn to walk before you can run, right? So make it, and keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. Another thing is, you can go to your thrift stores and shop around. You have thrift stores. What about your garage sales? Go out, if you're out running around on the weekend and it's nice and you see garage sales going on, stop. You'd be amazed what you can find. 50 cents, $1. And it might be candles. It might be a bag that you buy for $3. It might be something good for bugging out. You don't know. You just kind of shop, just look around. And once you get the feel for prepping, you won't be so overwhelmed anymore. It'll be like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this. I can do this. Just make sure you stay in your budget. Another thing is, buy some books. First aid book, books on edible plants, that type of stuff. If you can learn to garden, if you have that land or area to garden. Now, I grew cherry tomatoes in a 5-gallon bucket in my spare room here. I did that, I think, last year or the year before. I'd like to try something different because the room I'm sitting in, we get really, really good sunlight. So, the last thing I want to share before this video gets too long is build up your situation awareness. In other words, pay pay attention to your surroundings. Don't have that damn cell phone in your face 24/7. Be aware of the world around you. Be a people watcher. Just pay attention. And I say this to everybody. I tell everybody. It was just something that was installed in me from the military. Just pay attention to your surroundings. So on that note, I'm going to end this video. Give me a thumbs up. And please add some comments. I want to hear, I need some feedback from you guys. But once again, blessed be and be safe. And I will talk to you all next Saturday. Have a great weekend. Bye.